Hello and welcome to Global Civics Roundtables, a series about the rights and responsibilities of citizenship in the 21st century. In this episode, we are actually using the state capitol as a site for visits with young people from all over the Middle East. The first segment dates back to 2012. The topic at hand is a joint resolution in support of humanitarian assistance to refugees from Syria. The young people are playing the roles of legislators and citizen advocates. We're here conducting an experimental process wherein you folks are playing the role of members of a joint advisory committee. It doesn't exist in real life, but someday perhaps it will. And we have selected folks who are going to be presenting the resolution and then being in favor of it and then opposing it, and then we're going to enter into a committee process wherein the resolution will be discussed, and by the end of the program, we're going to take a vote and see how it goes. So without further ado, who is the sponsor of the bill?
Here I am.
Go ahead and tell us what we're going to be considering today.
Whereas prolonged violence and sectarian life has caused many thousands of Syrian citizens to seek refuge in the neighboring countries of Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, and Iraq. And whereas the acute suffering of Syrian refugee families, especially children, could be mitigated by supplies of medicine, medical equipment, temporary housing facilities, clean water, and nutritious food. And whereas the citizens of Montana have a sincere and abiding interest in the well-being of others in unfortunate circumstances, particularly in situations involving military violence directed against civilian populations. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the state of Montana that the United States Congress and the presidential administration cooperate to provide for the funding, transport, and deployment of non-military humanitarian assistance to Syrian refugees, and development of non-military humanitarian assistance to Syrian refugees working through those non-governmental organizations, charities, and international agencies certified to be reliable by the U.S. Secretary of State. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be dispatched to the Majority Leader of the United States Senate, to the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, to the U.S. Secretary of State, and to the Office of the President of the United States of America. I urge the committee to pass this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. First, we'll take proponents. Those in favor of this resolution. I want to remind them that time is short. We have to be brief, but state your point.
All right, thank you very much. As I mentioned, I come from Syria. And being Syrian myself, I understand exactly what's going on in Syria. Many of you may know and many of you may not. Syria is now going through a very unusual situation. It's a state of war between the government and the citizen. That sounds unfair, because the citizens, they have no power, so they can only protest peacefully. And that being happening right now leads to so many violations of human rights. There's a lot of massacres going on. There's no differentiation between killing young people, old people, women, children. Around 200 people are dying like every day. And the United States always claims to be protective of human rights, so I see no reason why the United States should let go of this kind of situation. So I urge the United States to pass this resolution. Thank you very much.
Are there further proponents?
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Chairman, House Representatives, and respectful Senators. My name is Hisham Osama. I'm representing the Arab American Friendship Lobby. I'm here to support this resolution. I have actually 4 reasons to support this resolution. The first one is The US has great responsibility towards the world. With great power comes great responsibility. And we can't stay seeing the situation in Syria and stay without doing anything towards it. The second reason is the US image in the Arab world. We see that after the Iraqi war and after the situations that happened after that, the US image is really not good in the Arab world. So this is an opportunity for us, for the House of Representatives and the US Senate to take action towards making this image better. Third reason is we are not sure if the bordering countries are able to help those refugees. Like we have Iraq and Jordan and Lebanon. Those countries have issues on their own. They have internal problems. So we are not sure if the refugees will actually be treated in good conditions in those countries. So we have to help. The fourth reason is the situation in Syria is really complex, as what Iyad has just explained. So now there's no end in sight. So we can't stay watching the situation until all the people of Syria are killed. So we have to take action now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And now we'll hear from opponents to the resolution.
My name is Iman Al-Haj Ali from Algeria. I'm here as a representative opposing. So I'm just speaking on behalf of any opposing individuals regarding this matter. Just to mention that we're here to understand the convictions regarding this people that are for this resolution and the arguments they have, even though we have a different opinion. We're not here to impose our opinion. Well, one of the things we think that the U.S. Has no business whatsoever regarding this involvement for many reasons that I don't really have the time to enumerate. We think that the U.S. should focus more on its local issues, since we've seen the impact of the U.S. involvement in other countries, especially in the Middle East. We're against the involvement of the U.S. Regarding this specific issue of the Syrian refugees. We think that this resolution would jeopardize the lives and the future of Syrian refugees. So we have a long-term view regarding this matter, and we don't really see it as an assistance, but more as an imposition. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have one additional opponent.
Thank you. Mr. President, dear representative, I'm Wedia Bourdir from the Amnesty International. Let me first notice that we are not against the refugees in Syria, and we understand your concern to this serious issue. USA has been running around the Syrian regime for 5 years, and we all understand how this issue is sensitive and how geopolitically the region is ready for a possible World War III. I'm here defending actually the life of the Syrian refugees that can be killed due to this possible aid from the USA, and that can be killed due to this possible aid. Why? Because the Al-Qaeda sympathizant in these representative, respectively, countries can threat the life of these refugees, and due to this kind of possible aid. And I'm telling you a fact, because the Somalians are suffering from the blackout and genocide from the Al-Shabaab group, which is a branch of Al-Qaeda in Somalia. And due to the several aids, these kind of groups which are against the United States can threat the life of the refugees in these representative countries. So I ask you all to think about these children, that these children can be your children one day. Thank you.
Thank you. The decisive thing for the committee to consider today is whether or not this resolution is worth the time and effort of the Montana legislature and whether it warrants the attention of the United States Congress. So just a word of caution to not go too far astray into the larger questions which are really beyond the ken of any state legislature. I'll go left and then right.
Thank
Senator.
you. Thank you.
Senators are on this side, representatives on that side,
Thank
arbitrarily.
you. Yahya from Qatar, and I would like to thank all of the components. But my question would be to Hisham and Iyad, is that if the U.S. government has to do something to Syria, maybe the people or the population there may reject those helps because of the reputation and the image that they have about the United States. One more thing is that why the United States has to interfere in that one. The United States is not to police the world. And my third point is that may elevate the tension between the United States and Russia, as we know that Syria is an ally for the Soviet Union before and now Russia. So that's my point.
About your first questions, I'm pretty sure that when civilians are being killed, they will not reject any help. And about your second point, the United States has to be involved because it is a great power in this, on the planet. And they always claim to have human rights and to support human rights. That is why they should be involved.
Okay, well, we have to forestall a debate starting here. This is what we the process doesn't allow for, but you can make one rejoinder or another point, and then we're going to move to the next person.
Regarding the first point that you're talking about is that the population will not reject that one. Like, if you remember in Tunisia, they refused any interference from outside, and they did it by blood. It took them like a longer time, but they did it by the end. And look for Libyans. They are regretting that they did not get the United Nations help because now they have to pay from their own oil. Now they are in debts for decades, and they have to do it by themselves, So that's my point. Some people, they will reject that. They will say we don't have interference because if a third party comes in, he won't go for free. And you know what I mean.
I understand.
It happened in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and everything. And some countries still they're paying for that.
I understand your point, but let me clarify that Syria is not Libya, neither Tunis.
I'm going to have to cut you off. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No problem.
I understand the point
understand.
you're about to make, but we have to stay true to the process. And what a chairman does routinely is stymies debate that's direct. Such debates do go on, of course, outside the framework of a committee meeting, in the hall, in the chambers. And just as a point of information, a resolution or a bill that gets beyond the committee stage, in other words, a vote approving it, when it goes to the next stage at the House or Senate floor, that's when debates are what's called for. But at this committee step, it's more an information exchange so that the members of the committee have enough information about the measure to decide whether to put it forward. So thank you very much, and you may be called upon again, but we're going to move to Senator here next.
Thank you.